Audie Murphy held his bitter grudges until the very end. Born Audie Leon Murphy on June 20th, 1925. In Kingston, Texas, he was the seventh of 12 children born to poor sharecroppers Emmett and Josie Murphy. His early years were defined by extreme hardship, including the abandonment by his father and the death of his mother when he was still a teenager. Forced to leave school in the 5th grade, Murphy took on a series of odd jobs to help support his siblings, developing a profound sense of duty and resilience that would shape his future. Motivated by patriotism and a desire to escape poverty, Murphy attempted to enlist in the military. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, although he was underage and underweight, he managed to gain entry into the United States Army in 1942 at just 17, with the help of his sister, who falsified his birth date. What followed was a remarkable military career that cemented his place in American history. Murphy served with distinction in the European theater during World War II, particularly in Italy, France, and Germany, where his valor became legendary. One of his most iconic moments occurred in January 1945 near Holtzwihr, France, where Murphy, wounded and under heavy enemy fire, climbed onto a burning tank destroyer and used its machine gun to single-handedly hold off an entire company of German troops for over an hour, allowing his unit to retreat safely. For his bravery, he received the Medal of Honor, the highest U.S. military decoration. By the end of the war, Murphy had earned every U.S. military combat award for valor, including the Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Stars, the Bronze Star, and 3 Purple Hearts, as well as international honors from France and Belgium, totaling 33 medals and citations. Upon returning to the U.S., Murphy was celebrated as a national hero. However, like many veterans, he struggled with what is now known as PTSD, then called battle fatigue. Seeking solace and a way to support himself, he turned to acting and writing. In 1949, he wrote his autobiography, To Hell and Back, which became a bestseller and was later adapted into a 1955 film where Murphy played himself. He went on to act in over 40 films, mainly westerns and war dramas, becoming a popular yet understated screen presence. Despite his success, Murphy remained modest, often deflecting praise to his fallen comrades and advocating for better understanding and treatment for veterans suffering from PTSD well ahead of his time. That same year, Murphy married actress Wanda Hendricks, but their marriage was rocky from the start, plagued by his psychological wounds, emotional distance, and the intense pressures of Hollywood. They divorced in 1951. Just 4 days after the divorce, Murphy married Pamela Opal Lee Archer, a former airline stewardess. Unlike his previous marriage, this one lasted until his death. Pamela provided Murphy with emotional stability and supported him through his ongoing struggles. They had 2 sons, Terry Michael Murphy, born in 1952, and James Shannon Murphy, born in 1954. Both children led private lives, but spoke respectfully of their father, his legacy and the hardships he endured. Though he enjoyed public recognition, Murphy was privately haunted by the war. He experienced nightmares, slept with a loaded gun under his pillow, and became addicted to prescription medication. Financial troubles, womanizing, and failed business ventures plagued him throughout the 1960s. In 1970, he was charged with assault after an altercation during which he fired a gun. Though acquitted, the incident marred his public image. A year later, on May 28, 1971, Murphy died in a plane crash at the age of 45 while flying over Brush Mountain near Catawba, Virginia. Official reports attributed the crash to pilot error in poor weather conditions. The story was widely accepted. America's most decorated war hero, who had survived the deadliest combat zones, had perished in a tragic peacetime accident. However, whispers of foul play began to surface almost immediately. Given Murphy's mental health struggles and his connections with government and military circles during his time in Hollywood, conspiracy theories began to emerge. Some speculated that Murphy had come across sensitive government secrets and was seen as a liability. Others believed organized crime or vengeful business associates could have been involved. Critics of the official report questioned why the plane was flying so low in dangerous weather and why some pieces of wreckage were never recovered. These inconsistencies fueled speculation for decades. Years later, advances in forensic science and the declassification of government documents breathed new life into the case. A team of independent investigators, including aviation experts and journalists, revisited the crash. Their findings were shocking. Forensic analysis of the wreckage revealed signs of sabotage. Control wires appeared cut or rerouted, and the structural damage was inconsistent with an accidental impact. Flight pattern simulations suggested intentional low-level flying, and newly discovered testimonies from former intelligence operatives indicated Murphy may have been under surveillance. In the months leading up to the crash, one whistleblower claimed Murphy had stumbled upon classified information about covert operations, and that his death was orchestrated to prevent him from revealing what he knew. If these allegations are true, then Murphy's death was not a tragic accident, but an assassination. A hero who had served his country bravely and honorably may have been killed by the very government he once fought for. The implications are staggering. The accepted narrative of Audie Murphy's death must now contend with the possibility of conspiracy and betrayal. This casts a dark shadow over the memory of a man who, after enduring the horrors of war and the pressures of fame, may have ultimately fallen victim to forces far more sinister than enemy gunfire. Murphy, who had always hated war for the loss it brought, the deaths of his comrades, the destruction, the senselessness lived with scars that never healed. He held grudges, not out of pettiness, but from unresolved pain and trauma. Despite his accolades, he was a man tormented by guilt and memories. In his later years, he spiraled financially and emotionally, reaching rock bottom before his tragic end. But in light of these new revelations, his story becomes more than a tale of a hero lost too soon. It becomes a chilling reminder that even legends are not immune to betrayal. Audie Murphy's life, once a symbol of courage and resilience, now carries the weight of mystery, injustice, and unanswered questions. And that shadowed legacy, half patriotism, half paranoia, may haunt the American conscience for generations to come. Ask ChatGPT.